Hello, and welcome to Swerve's Bar podcast special segment I like to call Killobytes Corner. I am your host, Killobyte, and joining me on today's episode is Onyx Prime. Thanks for joining.
Hello, listeners, and no problem, Kilo. Thought you could use the company for today's episode.
Moving on with our comic discussion for today's episode takes us to IDW Transformers Heart of Darkness Volume 4. And as always, spoiler warning. If you haven't read it already, we highly recommend you go and read it, then come back and listen to the podcast. Click the subscribe button if you enjoy our content, or hit the like on this video. Now, onward with the podcast. Now, Onyx, you've read this comic before, right?
That is correct.
Would you mind giving us a short summary and a few fun facts before we dive right in?
Sure. For fun facts, the first issue in this series was released March 23rd, 2011. The fourth and final one was released June 29th, 2011. The writer was Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. Artist was, I'm going to butcher this one, Ulysses Farinas? I'm so sorry. And colors by Andrew Crossley. So our first fact, in issue 2, the psychedelic Dead Universe imagery on pages 14 and 15 include a stream of floating representations of several incarnations of Galvatron and Megatron, and their voice actors, some of them including Frank Welker's head, Leonard Nimoy's head, Galvatron, G1 Megatron, and many more. Number 2. In issue 4, Galvatron somehow knows Rodimus, which is interesting given he's been trapped in the Dead Universe, and let alone Rodimus's name change from Hot Rod.
I found that interesting when I read it too.
So for a short summary, after Galvatron is reborn through the energies given to him by the Dark Matrix, he is filled with visions of an approaching evil. He decides to raise the dead and turn them into his army of sweeps to fight against the evil Devoid. Who will be successful? Let's find out. And as always, this information was taken from the wiki.
Awesome. Are you ready to start?
I believe so.
Awesome. We start off with Galvatron and his seekers exploring Gorlem Prime, finding it devoid of life. Yet Galvatron is looking for a sign, and he won't stop until he finds it. What could he be looking for, Onyx?
Oh boy. The first time when I read this many years ago, I had no idea what Galvatron was up to. I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah, he seems determined to find something in this dead planet. So.
Right, and for our YouTube viewers, you're gonna see some images here, and you'll find out why. It's very distracting.
Yeah, the art is surely different than what we've seen before.
It's out of this world.
Especially the imagery, like when certain things happen to our characters, the imagery depicted on them and around them is just kind of like nothing we've seen so far.
I'd say. Sorry, go on.
Oh, no problem. Shall we move on?
Absolutely.
Later, Galvatron and his team get ambushed by RC and Hardhead. They manage to capture Hardhead, but RC escapes. They project Hardhead memories and find out that population of Gorlem Prime has walked into a sphere, as if they were mind controlled. Sounds pretty scary.
Yeah. This, I don't know what you would do in that situation, because they just became zombified and they just walked to what looked like their deaths.
Yeah, it was kind of a shocker when I read to this part, because we find out that all the population of this planet just walks into the spheres and disappears into it, and they've been walking like their eyes are grayed out, like as if they were offline, and they just kept walking forward and disappearing one by one until there's nothing left. And I'm like, it's kind of scary. It's just like, what is going on?
It's a big mystery.
It is a big mystery. But we do find out what's inside. Galvatron decides to enter the sphere, and what does he find? What does he find inside, Onyx?
He starts tripping. No, he finds Devoid, an ancient Decepticon god stuck in the Dead Universe. Galvatron sees crazy visions of skeletons, other incarnations of himself, including voice actors for some reason. Wow, breaking the fourth wall much? Yeah, there's lots of crazy imagery. This was probably one of the better scenes, seeing all the crazy stuff. There's this one scene. Can't remember if it's a lead up to this or not, but Galvatron has this look where he's got a big chest and a little head, and it feels very much like that Captain America perspective meme. It was hilarious.
Yeah, we should put an image on there so they can compare it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, but like once he enters, you can see like a bunch of eyes looking at him. Kind of feels like Lovecraftian horror because there's like tentacles pulling at him. He loses all his external plating, and now you can see his exoskeleton. It kind of reminded me of the Terminator skeleton. And he's just going crazy. They're pulling him, and he's like, "No, you won't have me." And I'm like, "Oh my god, what is going on here?" But he manages to pull himself out by shooting his blaster, his cannon,
By the power of the heart of darkness.
by the power of the Heart of Darkness as well.
Wait, that's the name of the comic.
But he manages to escape this scenario, and he decides to create a strong army enough to defeat the Devoid. So they travel to a planet called Spindrift and start resurrecting every Cybertronian corpse left on the planet, which is scary that he can do that and disturbing at the same time. You know, these Cybertronians fought here who knows how many years ago, and he just comes along and starts resurrecting them, bringing them back to life, and say, "You will join my cause." And it just feels like an army of zombies at this point.
Like one of my favorite resurrections here is when he resurrects a Titan Master from a organic crab species spaceship or pirate ship. I don't know how you want to say it. "Quote unquote" saves them from being attacked by this other monster, unrelated. Uh, and it's funny. It's great. Cause like we never see the crabs again. Like he saves them, and then we never see them again ever.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because there's a panel where after they rescue the Titan Master, was it, or a Headmaster? Kind of get it confused.
They said Titan Master,
Titan Master.
Stinker Box, or Tinker Box, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. So they rescue the Titan Master and they leave, and so the crab people, they don't understand what's happening, and they're like, "That on our ship all along? Did they save us? Did they want us? Did they want to destroy us?" And then there's a panel. They say, "I think they saved us, Captain, kind of." And you see their ship gulf in flames, kind of drifting downwards.
Right? It's like, oh, they're going down.
Yeah, they're not gonna survive this. And they're on a planet where it's like everything's floating. So if they go down, I don't think they'll ever hit bottom. They just keep
No,
drifting.
probably a gaseous planet.
Yeah. But I thought that was pretty funny. Poor crab people.
Crab people.
So once Galvatron resurrects his army and he's gathered them and told them what's to come, the evil they're facing, they travel to a planet called Dicaria. Sorry if I butchered that name, which is another planet that holds a similar sphere, just like the one in Gorlam Prime. This time, he meets an old friend. Who is this old friend, Onyx?
So he finds a broken Jaxus who has been tortured for years by RC and Hardhead for good reasons, and we'll figure that out in another issue down the line. But Galvatron repairs him through magical Heart of Darkness powers.
At this point, Galvatron can do anything really. He can raise the dead. He can fix anybody. He can't die himself.
Yeah, he's like a necromancer.
Yeah, he's just making an army of undead. But we also come face to face with Nemesis Prime. And I like this coloring for Nemesis Prime because he's white and light blue, which kind of reminds me of Ultra Magnus colors without his armor,
Yeah.
which I like. But this one, he's way bigger. He also has a kind of like an appearance kind of like Zeta Prime from Megatron Origins. So having these two mixed together is, I think, pretty cool, pretty interesting, and I'm glad it's not another clone of Optimus.
Yeah, yeah. And for the listeners out there, this incarnation of Nemesis Prime also goes by the name of Nova Prime, and also known as, what else is he known as, Kilobyte?
He's also known as the Void.
Yes. So Devoid like takes over Nova Prime's body. And I kind of like the art for this transformation.
I like it too. It does remind me of a demon. I wonder if our friend Heximus knows them.
Oh, we'll have to let them know.
Yeah, but it's just creepy. It has an eye in the middle of the forehead, an eye in its chest, and like it has a mandibles of jaws. It looks like flesh took over the mechanical parts, but it's still part mechanical. It's very unsettling, but I guess in a good way.
Yeah, I think that's the point. It's supposed to look as creepy as possible.
Yeah.
And it definitely hits the nail on the head. Is that how the human says?
Is it coffin? Is it nail on the head? I don't know. I think you're right. I think it's nail on the head.
I digress. Uh, anyway, so that's probably my last favorite design of this. There's a lot of other stuff in this that's interesting perspectives.
Yeah, I think that was one of the fun aspects of it, seeing this transformation, and then of course Galvatron and his army fight this entity off. They don't kill it; they end up pushing it back into the sphere, causing the sphere to implode, and so they managed to block off one of the entrances from the void into our universe. But there's still more. He's still not out, which also makes me feel kind of a little bit sad for Omega Supreme because he was waiting for Nova's return all these years, and he's been lost to the dead universe, and now it's being controlled by this entity. So he'll never get his revenge.
His revenge, huh?
Yeah. Well, he if I'm not mistaken, in he wanted his revenge on Nova for what he did, right? That's why he was up in the cold fronts of Cybertron where Optimus and Ironhide found him.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily revenge. He was mostly like guarding Cybertron from his return.
Oh, okay. Kind of. So if he showed up, he would just protect them no matter what. But
Yeah,
he's defending, but he could, he did something to make him think that Nova's gonna do harm to Cybertron, which could be this.
absolutely.
He could have found out that he ended up being controlled by the Void. Who knows, right? And now that I'm thinking out loud, I think it kind of makes sense now.
Well, I think he was worried about what he was going to do to the population because when Nova Prime was in charge, it was all about expansion.
Mm,
Anyway, that's not in this comic, but yes, it
yeah.
would have been interesting to see Omega Supreme v Nova Prime.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. So after defeating Nemesis or the Void, closing the portal, Galvatron decides to enlist the help of the Autobots. Since the Void is still out there, yet the Autobots decline the invitation. I know the Autobots don't trust Galvatron for the things he's done in the past, but sometimes you gotta think that they could be right, that there's something greater coming, and for the greater good that we must team up. So I'm interested to see what happens in the later comics if we get to revisit this and see maybe the Autobots teaming up with Galvatron and defeating the Void.
Yeah, what do you think that'll happen, or do you think there's going to be conflict?
I hope it'll happen. I think if Megatron shows up, there might be conflict there. But I feel like Galvatron is being sincere, at least like letting everybody know that there's a bigger entity. I feel like it's very hard to believe, but I feel like the Autobots tend to find the good in others, and they might team up.
Yeah, we'll see.
I know you know, but so I'm hoping that happens. If not, then let's see what happens. But I'm still excited.
You'll definitely get a show.
Ooh, okay. I'm trying to see. I'm interested in see what form the void takes with the returning. So,
It's going to knock your socks off.
do I even wear socks? Do I have to buy some?
I've been wearing Earth socks this whole time.
You
What have you
are.
been doing? Yeah, look how cozy these things are.
Oh, they look
Yeah,
cozy. I should get a
yeah.
pair. How
Mm.
what size are those? Are they even big enough?
Quadruple XL.
Quadruple XL. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make a note and I'll order some from the Intergalactic Exchange.
Yes, order them. Do not steal them. All right. Anyway, what's our next segment?
Our next assessment is, in the end, Galvatron heads to Cybertron after being declined, and he sets up the defenses because he knows that the Void's true objective is Cybertron, so he wants Cybertrons to be the first line of defense against this entity. And that's about it. That's the end of the comic, which I'm excited to see more. I really want to see where this story goes. I know the art is kind of all over the place and everything, but I do want to see more of Galvatron, and I like his design. I like some scenes. He looks pretty cool. Like especially the last one. He has his eyes wide open, which looks kind of scary. I like that there are different entities, Megatron and Galvatron, and can't wait to see where these alliances go from here. How about you?
Alliances. Yeah, I'm excited to see this for the fourth time unfold.
Fourth time unfold. Okay. Well, for Rod Star rating, what would you give this?
Let's make the main host go first.
Ah, I see. see. I'll remember that the next time we do the podcast. I think I'll give it a 1.5.
Wow, harsh. I have not seen you give it any comic that low of a score.
Like I've said in the D&D, I can't be mean, but this one, the art just doesn't do it for me. It's just kind of distracting. The story was very good and very fun, but the art just kind of doesn't really inspire me to reread it again.
Yeah, now you know how Computron feels. That's why he's not here today.
I see. I understand now.
Yeah, I would probably give it a 1.
One.
It's an interesting concept. I'll give it that. Although the execution in this one probably like not even just the art, like some of the writing is extremely hard to read, or it just feels forced to say. And in the first comic, there's a lot of exposition dump. I just feel like it could be a very interesting plot point. And I would like to see something like this revisited or redone in a future series or one off or whatever. But yeah, that's my take on this.
Yeah. Well, shall we move on?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we don't have any emails today, but if you would like to get in contact with us, you can send us an email at swervesbarpodcast@gmail.com. That's SWERVESBAR podcast@gmail.com. Any ending thoughts? Do you have any new toys? Anything else you would like to talk about?
Oh boy, any new toys since last time? I do not have any new toys, unfortunately. I don't have enough shelf space, so I have not gotten any new toys.
Are you ready for Transformers Chaos Theory?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready to get out of this one and go to the next one.
I really like that one. It was very fun. Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, consider sharing it with your friends and subscribing. And as always, thank you so much for listening. To all are one.
Till all are one.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Swerves Bar Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at Swerves Bar. If you are interested in more content, try checking out the spin-off D&D Transform and Rollout Rise of the World Killers. Let's tune in for a preview now.
We better start acting like we're caught for
Yeah.
whatever's coming down there.
Yeah, you guys are in big trouble. Yep, totally.
Oh no.
Please
Woe
get
is
on your
me.
hands and knees, you
Okay, that's getting a little weird.
scumbags.
That's getting a little weird. I'm gonna cut that bit. This
Hey,
cave.
get on your knees,
I've
All right,
been
scumbags.
the bumpers.
caught.
The real bumpers.
Exhilarating. There is also a YouTube channel with bonus content. Link will be provided below. End transmission.